episode of Vintage Game Finder. It's your boy Needs Mazda 07. Hopefully you guys are doing good out there, finding those retro video game gems that are still out in the wild undiscovered. Alright, for this week's pickup we have some games for the NES. Of course, you can't really stray away from trying to get those NES pickups. They're getting fewer and farther between for me, for two reasons, and that's because a lot of times I show up at places and I get beat to it, or I already have those games in the collections, and I either leave it there because I don't need it, or I pick it up because I would consider it a label upgrade, and I go ahead and pass off the double in trade or a quick sell just for a couple bucks, just to get the money back that I spent on it. But yeah, basically a decent week. So I got some NES pickups, some Super Nintendo, a couple of handhelds, Sega, of course. You know me, I gotta have Sega in my life, and then a couple more that are a little bit more on the modern side. So let's dig in and see what we got. Alright guys, for the Sega side of things, on this week's pickup, this was a portion of the trade that I made with a good friend of mine named Calvin. He's on the West Coast, and it's pretty awesome because he used to live in the town I'm in now, and he just recently moved over there to Cali and got settled down and all that. So it's cool for me to meet people from different walks of life and different points in their own journey. So Calvin, if you're watching, thanks man, I appreciate it. I hope what I said in my end of the trade was good enough to keep you happy, and keep me in mind the next time you find any doubles out there on the West Coast that I may be looking for. So again, thanks a lot man, I appreciate it. So alright, let's go ahead and take a look. For the Genesis and that portion of the trade, I was able to pick up some games that I desperately needed for my collection, and I'm gonna go ahead well, they're loose unfortunately, but I have extra cases and I could download the cover art if I really need to. I'm not that much of a stickler of trying to go after the original cover art, but let's go ahead and check it out. I was able to pick up a copy of Cyberball. Fun little unique football simulator. Next, this game, when this game came out, was at a time when a lot of developers were trying to look into creating their own mascot, their quote-unquote ambassador to their company. So when I was able to find this game, I was very happy to do so. So this is my copy of Aero the Acrobat. The label has seen better days, of course, but I've cleaned the contacts and it plays pretty good. So until I find a double out there somehow that has a better label, of course, I'm just going to end up holding on to this for my collection for the time being. Next, we have a copy here of another sports title. A lot of people don't like the sports titles. I do, because they're fun games to just pick up and play while you're waiting for somebody, or when you're about to go out somewhere and you don't have a lot of time to invest in the actual game. You can just take one of these games, pop it in, play for 10-15 minutes, and go do whatever it is you got to do for the day. I was looking for this actively. I remember this being a launch title when the Genesis came out, so I was happy to pick it up. It was Super Volleyball, and the label on this was pretty good. I just wish they did a better job on the cover art, because it looks so generic, but it's a fun game. And last but not least, for the Genesis, I was able to pick up the North American exclusive Green Dog the Beach Surfer Dude. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's a great game, but it's not an awful game either. Off the top of my head, I could at least think of 3 or 4 games on the Genesis that are a lot worse than this. So I was happy to pick it up, even though the label's kind of messed up, but still, it's a North American release exclusively. So when that kind of stuff comes into play, I make sure that I get a copy of it. So very happy that I got that. Alright, to finish up the Sega side, we were able to pick up some Sega Saturn games. Loose, unfortunately, but games that I didn't have in the collection that I could easily keep. And for my Saturn collection, I'm transitioning from the jewel cases, the traditional jewel cases that Sega had released for that period, to DVD cases with custom cover art. So it's not really a selling point to me if I have the games completed box or just loose. You know, I'm just getting them to get them so I can have them in the collection. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. I have NHL Power Play 96. Also was able to pick up a copy of College Slim. If you like NBA Jam, of course, this is pretty much it, just with college themes. Also was able to pick up a copy of World Series Baseball 98. This one I have the complete in box copy to this, so this one's pretty much a double to me, so I'll go ahead and put it in the trade pile and find it a happy home eventually. Next, this one I don't have in the collection, so I'm kind of happy I was pick it up and that I was able to pick it up and anxious to go ahead and play it. This is a Last Gladiators digital pinball from Time Warner Interactive, I believe it is. And last but not least, to finish off the Sega side, I have another double here of another sports game. This is NFL Quarterback Club 97. For this week, fortunately, we're keeping it mostly retro, which is bittersweet. But yeah, I was able to pick up one PS2 title, and it's one that is debatable. I hear mostly bad things about it, but I'm willing to give the game a chance just because I want to be able to say that I gave it a shot and I actually played it and I came up with my own opinion of it instead of listening to what other people had to say about it, pretty much. And that game I'm referring to is Iron Man for the PS2. You've probably seen reviews on it on YouTube, and most of those reviews are not good. But like I said, I'm gonna pop it in, give it a shot, and it's either good or it's either gonna be good, I keep it in collection, or it's gonna be bad and it's gonna get chucked somewhere. So regardless, it's gonna have a home. Alright, rounding third base, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video with what I picked up for my Nintendo consoles for this week. And we'll go ahead and get the handheld stuff out of the way. For the Nintendo DS, these are mostly pickups for my kids. When it comes to the handhelds, I don't really play them, even though I do collect them. I have a whole bunch of them. But still, these are mostly ones that my kids play, so more often than not, they'll catch me on the couch playing it while they're watching cartoons or something like that. But it's not a mostly console, to be honest. But for the Nintendo DS, I was able to pick up for them Wild Pets Dolphins. Common title, I know. Next, another one that they really like platforming games on their handhelds. This is the Powerpuff Girls Mojo Jojo A Go Go. A lot of O's. And last but not least, this one I was happy to find because I one of the channels that I watch is what is his name? Metal Jesus Rocks, yeah, and he has a lot of videos, and he does an awesome job of editing as well. So when I get to see games that he considers hidden gems, I tend to pay attention to that. And when he listed one of these games as a hidden gem, I made it a priority to seek it out. It's not the first installment, unfortunately, but it is the second part, and I like to believe THQ made a good job with it. And it's the game I'm referring to, of course, is Sonic Advance 2 for the Game Boy Advance. Pretty fun game. I like the sprite design, the level layout. It's I've only played the first 2 or 3 levels, but I enjoyed it the whole time I played it. So this will probably be one of those games for me that I end up somehow taking from the kids and, you know, playing it for myself, and hopefully I could keep it safe and away from their clutches. Alright, one N64 title and one Super NES title to display here for this week's pickups. These were called the Wild, and I am very happy to say that one I will find a home for and one will stay with me. I enjoy the N64 as a console in general, but I don't keep the games for too long because I don't know. I never really was sold on the controller. I was never really sold on the console. So when I do manage to pick these up for a price that I could live with, I pick them up, and you know, I just pass them down to somebody that needs them for their collection that could give them the love that I was not able to give. So The N64 cartridge that I picked up for this week was Disney Pixar's Toy Story 2. Pretty good label there. And the one that I am keeping for this SNES was another interesting game for its time. This one's called Balls 3D, Fighting at its Ballsiest. A lot of balls included with this game, I assume. And I want to say this game used the same Star Fox engine that the Star Fox game had, obviously. But is it a great game? From what I've seen, not really, but still a fun game to have in your collection. You want diversity, you want uniqueness in your collection, and this is a game that will definitely go ahead and do that for you. Alright, so to go ahead and wrap up the video, last but not least, of course, we have our NES pickups. This was the other portion of the trade I made with Calvin on the West Coast. And for the most part, games that I was seeking, more commonly sought after games that are pretty much fillers for anybody that's trying to get a complete library for the NES. I'm not a completionist. I want to, at the beginning of the little adventure here that I'm having here, collecting retro video games, I was trying to be a completionist, but it's gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to keep what I like and find a better home for the stuff that I deem undesirable for my collection. So let's go ahead and wrap up the video. This is what I picked up. All of these are going to end up staying with me. A lot of them, the labels are great, and I'm very happy to add them to the collection. Calvin, again, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Alright, Wrath of the Black Manta. Next, another Data East gem, Cobra Command. Another Capcom classic. If you haven't played this, go out and play it. You will appreciate it. This is Commando. Next up, can I just say, NES cover art, so awesome. The artists were amazing back then, and I hardly ever hear those artists being recognized, and it's kind of a shame that they're not put in the spotlight, because some of this cover art is nostalgic, for one, of course. Two, it's pretty good at cover art, or art in general. And three, they don't get the recognition they deserve. And I wish there was a way we could find out who these people were that made these cover art, especially on the NES and the Genesis and all that. They should be sought after, and they should be recognized for their efforts that they made to the retro culture. But let me go ahead and just keep giving you the last 4 games that I picked up. This one's from Bandai, and it's called Dragon Power. I remember playing this as a kid, but I don't remember too much after that. I know it was a top-down, Zelda-esque layout, but aside from that, I don't remember too much else. This one was another interesting pickup, and it's The Goonies 2. Haven't heard too many things about this game, so I'm excited to go ahead and clean it up and pop it in and enjoy it. Another Data East game. I really like Data East back in that time period. Also love Konami and Capcom and all that, you already know. So this game, if you haven't played it, when you do eventually play it, pay attention to your corner between rounds, and let your mind play tricks on you. The game I'm referring to, of course, is Data East Ring King. And last but not least, everybody knows I'm a Sega fanboy, so when this release came back, I ridiculed it even back then, because I'm like, you know what, the Genesis version is better, the Master System version is better, but I never really gave it a chance, and I never got to play it. And again, this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the video. No matter what people tell you, if you can find the game and you can play it yourself, form your own opinion on it based on that. Don't just believe what people tell you. Go out there and play it, and you decide yourself whether you want it or not. The game I'm referring to is a 10-gen release, and that is Shinobi. Unfortunately, it's got some writing on it, but that's, you know, I'll take care of that eventually. But the cover art, pretty dope. I don't know why he's kicking a bush, but it works. It gets you enticed, and this is part of the marketing back in those days. All you really had to go on was this, the box art, of course, and the screenshots in the back, word of mouth, of course, and I want to say in that time period there was Nintendo Power, of course, so you had that to go on too. But if the reviews were biased, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword at that point. But yeah, very happy I got to pick it up. So alright, so that goes ahead and wraps up the video for this week. I'm very happy with what I picked up. It's not that easy nowadays, of course, because retro video game collecting is a thing now, so there's a lot of people out there. But whatever I do pick up and whatever I do find, I'm very appreciative of it. I'm very thankful that I'm able to find it, and every week is a new adventure. Some weeks I don't find anything, which sucks, but as long as you have the desire, as long as you have the ambition, you could always find something. So with that being said, I will see you next week. Hopefully everybody finds their own interesting stuff out there in the wild, of course, in different parts of the country or in different parts of the world, for that matter. But with that being said, I will see you next time. God bless, stay safe, and happy hunting. Alright, I was able to pick up another PS2 game to add to